Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and I'm here to walk you through Cambridge 17 Test 2 Passage 2. Let's get started right away. Now, again, as I always do, I'm here to just, highlight the title and try to guess what it's going to be about. A second attempt at domesticating tomatoes. Okay, so this passage is all about domesticating tomatoes, the tomato, and also one note to mention is that it's a second attempt, right? So there have been some attempts before. Well, not attempts, but only one attempt, singular. Now let's get right into it. Now I'm gonna grab my highlighter and then just start highlighting the questions. Now it's important to pay attention to some like instructions. For example, NB, you may use any letter more than once. So this is matching information questions, I think, which means that all these statements sort of like are located in each one of in every one of these like sections, right? So as you can see, you may use any letter more than once, but this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use all of them, right? Like you have to use one letter more than once, because this we've been tricked before in Cambridge 17 passage 2, I guess. Yeah, the same thing happened. So we're not gonna get tricked by that anymore. And we have like matching names, right? And as you can see, again, you may use any letter more than once, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use any letter more than once, because it says may. Now the next set of questions is complete sentences, right? Sentence completion. This is really easy. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Okay, so this tomato can resist a dangerous infection. Resist something means it can withhold. I'm using another high level word, but like resist, it can take it, right? It can endure. So there are actually a lot of many ways of saying that. And reference is like, again, it's kind of tricky because it may not be transparent, so you may want to look out for that. An explanation of how problems can arise. Okay, how problems can arise from focusing only on a certain type of tomato plant. Okay, a number of examples. Okay, so there have to be a lot of examples. Of course, not a lot of, but a number, at least two examples of plants that are not cultivated at present, but could be useful as food sources. Okay, so they're not cultivated at present, but could be used as food sources without being cultivated. A comparison between the early domestication of the tomato and more recent research. Okay, early and like there's got to be some comparison. And a personal reaction. Okay, nice, to the flavor of a tomato that has been genetically edited. Right, like for us to choose a particular paragraph which this like statement corresponds, we need to like that paragraph needs like to have a person who sort of like tastes that genetically edited tomato and then like reacts, right? So I'm just kind of like setting the like context, right? Trying to predict what the passage, the paragraph may be about. So this is actually a fundamentally good thing that I recommend you guys try, because when you do that, you try to try to connect the dots, which will potentially be useful when like trying to decide on the answer. It's a really cool method. Like I always get my students to predict, like depending on any other question. Actually, like it doesn't have to be matching information. I do it with true false not given questions, and um, again, like I said, any other question as well. Now here we have matching names, right? List of researchers, and one thing to know about this kind of question is that like usually, like from my experience, all these names are in order, which means is that first, in the passage you'll find Georg Kudla, and then the B, right? Kaiksia, I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm really bad at pronouncing names. So Joyce Van Eyck, Jonathan Jonas, right? So all these will be like will come after and then B, and then C, and then D, right? So these follow the same pattern, right, as the passage. So this is what one thing to know about. But 19, 20, 21, 23, like they don't follow any order. Okay, domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environmental challenges. By the way, I'm not gonna bother reading these because I first need to locate these names and then like try to read and then get back to this question set, which will save a lot of my time because even if I read now, it's not going to be helpful at all. So that's one thing to know. Another set of questions, which is the final one for today, is complete the sentences. One word only. Like I said, pay attention to the instructions because if you don't, even if you find like close answer, it's not going to be like counted as correct. An undesirable trait such as loss of something. And as you guys remember, what I do with such questions is just predict what word may fit here, like an undesirable trait such as loss of something, noun. We try to predict what kind of word may go here, like such as may be caused by a mutation in the tomato gene. Loss of maybe flavor, let's just say, right? May be caused by a mutation in a tomato gene. Okay. Oh, just kidding. Let's just say tomato gene. Okay. By modifying one gene in the tomato plant, researchers made the tomato 3 times its original size, maybe, right? Modifying, like when you modify, that means like you're changing the gene, right? So I think, yeah, they're gonna talk about like how like genetic modification can help, right? 3 times its original. Again, like only the word size is just size maybe. A type of tomato which was not badly affected by something, not badly affected by pests, let's just say, or what else? Like, and was rich in vitamin C, was produced by a team of researchers. By, I don't know, like if it's like a research, then that's probably like mutation, right? Again, like these are not 100% correct, and they may not be even like any percent correct, like 50% correct. They're just here to sort of like identify like exactly what kind of word may fit here. But again, that's not to say that these are like by any means correct. And what we do now here is like go to the passage and then finish one uh, piece of the text, like one chunk A, and then like go to question set number one, and then the next one, and then the following one. So like this way, we finish the whole passage, finish the passage and the questions as we go along. Now let's get started. It took at least 3,000 years for humans to learn how to domesticate the wild tomato and cultivate it for food. Okay. Now two separate teams in Brazil and China have done it all over again in less than 3 years. Wow. And they have done it better in some ways, as the re-domesticated tomatoes are more nutritious than the ones we eat at present. Nice. This approach relies on the revolutionary CRISPR genome editing technique. Okay, in which changes are deliberately made to the DNA of a living cell, allowing genetic material to be added, removed, and altered. So basically, like changes are made to the DNA of a living cell, which means that genetic material can be added or removed or altered. Like altered means changed. The technique could not only improve existing crops, but also could be used to turn thousands of wild plants into useful and appealing foods. Nice, right? Not just existing like edible crops, but any other wild animal, not animal, but plants that to be used as food. In fact, a third team in the U.S. has already begun to do this with a relative of the tomato called the ground cherry. Okay, this fast-track domestication could help make the world's food supply healthier. Okay, so one of the benefits of this is like that food supply will be healthier and far more resistant to diseases. Oh, like resist a dangerous infection, I think. Yeah, such as the rust fungus devastating wheat crops. This could transform what we eat, says George Kugler. Georg? Oh yeah, I think I remember this, I think. Yeah. At the University of Munster in Germany, a member of the Brazil team, there are 50,000 edible plants in the world, but 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. Oh, all right, I see. We can now mimic the known domestication course of major crops like rice, maize, sorghum, or others, says Kaise Gao of the Chinese Academy of Science in Beijing. Then we might try to domesticate plants that have never been domesticated. Nice. We try to read all these questions. A reference to a type of tomato that can resist a dangerous infection. Here, like, there's resistance diseases, but type of tomato. Like, this is like a potential, right? Something that can be done in the future. So maybe yes. Because why? As you can see, like, oh, sorry, like this could help to make world's food supply healthier and more resistant to disease. So ground cherry will probably is a type of tomato, right? And it can resist a dangerous infections, the same thing as resistant to diseases. So it's probably A. Again, like that's not. I'm not like 100% sure. An explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only on a certain type of tomato plant. No, we haven't talked about anything negative yet. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be used as a food source. Oh, number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be used as useful as food sources. Like, are there any examples? Like, they said thousands of wild plants, right? But are there any examples? Let's just see. All right. No, I don't think so, right? Major crops like we can now mimic the known domestication course of major crops like others. All right, so I'm just trying to think. No, no, I don't think so. Like, unless of course, like here we have like wild tomato, like oh no, not this, like wild plants, right? Thousands of, but they are not examples. But if we can't find anything closer to this, then we're probably going to have to go with A. Comparison between the early domestication of the tomato and more recent research. I don't think there is a like yeah like now here yes uh like early domestication, right? It took them like 3,000 years, right, to learn to domesticate the wild tomato and cultivate it for food. But now it's being done in less than 3 years. So, yeah, this is like potentially correct answer, but I'm not sure. Again, we're just gonna, note, right, and then go on. Personal reaction to, and by the way, like if we stick to this, right, A, then the explanation is that yes, there is definitely like connection and comparison between the two early domestication, more recent research, right? Like now Brazil and China, US, these are like I don't know, like recent researches, and this particular sentence, the first one, uh, has something to do with early domestication. Personal reaction to the flavor. No, I haven't read anything about that. Now we go to the next question set and we try. We read something about Jorg and Kaixia, so we try to read all these and then highlight some things on the way. Domestication of certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environmental challenges. Could help make the world's. This is something that I think Jorg. No. Jorg said that we could transform what we eat, right? There are 50,000 edible plants in the world, but 90% of our energy comes from just 15 crops. Okay, no, I don't think he said that. The idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be accepted on a large scale. No, no one has said that, I think. It's not advisable for the future direction of certain research to be made public. No, it's not advisable for the future direction of certain present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the cost involved. No, we haven't read anything about that. Humans only make use of a small proportion of the plant food available. Yes, Jor Kudla just said that, right? Uh, they only make use of a small proportion is the same thing, 15 crops, right? There are like 50%, 50,000, but like we only make use of a very like small fraction. So this is A, and course of major. All right. No, I don't think we like this. This has we find any answer. We found any answer to B. I mean, like we found any answer, uh, like any statement, corresponding statement to the answer B. We also try to look at this. No, we didn't read anything about mutation in the tomatoes gene, so we keep reading B. Wild tomatoes, which are native to the Andes region in South America, produce pea-sized fruits. Okay. Over many generations, people such as the Aztecs and Incas transformed the plant by selecting and breeding plants with mutations in their genetic structure, which resulted in desirable traits such as a larger fruit. Here, however, we have undesirable trait, right? Traits such as larger fruit. But every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population for breeding, much genetic diversity is lost. Okay, I see. This is negative then. This is not good. Like every time a single plant with a mutation is taken from a larger population for breeding, the genetic diversity is lost. And sometimes these desirable mutations come with less desirable traits. All right, we're getting it. For instance, the tomato strains grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor. Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, by the way, we also need to number, right? So 14 in comparison, right? It is 17. Sorry, this is 17. Uh, like reference. This is where was it? Like this is 14. Yeah. By comparing the genomes of modern plants to those of their wildest relatives, biologists have been working out what genetic changes occurred as plants were domesticated. Oh, yeah. The team in Brazil and China have now used this knowledge to reintroduce these changes from scratch while maintaining or even enhancing the desirable traits of wild strains. Okay, let's see. Like here, like a reference to a type of tomato that can just not this. Uh, a comparison between early domestication. Okay. No, I don't think. Yeah, like this was actually it. You know, because they kind of like brought up the sentence that looks like comparing, right, the genomes of modern plants to those of their wild animals. Early domestication. This is like modern plants to those of their wild relatives. And this is happening only right now, not early domestication versus more recent research. It's like modern domestication versus wild, uh, like wild. I don't know. So yeah, I think we're done with B, and we try to like find answers, an explanation of how problems can arise from focusing on a certain type of tomato plant. Uh, yeah, I think yeah, like an explanation of how problems can arise from focusing only a certain type of tomato plant. Here it was like, a single plant with a mutation is taken, right, from a larger population for breeding, but genetic diversity is lost. So this is like these are the problems, right? Uh, 15. All right, so this is B. A number of examples of plants that are not cultivated present but could be used as a source. I don't think so. Personal reactions to flavor. No. We go to the next one. And did we read any names? No. How about this? Yeah, we did read something. And undesirable traits such as loss of maybe caused by mutation in tomato gene. But every time, okay, so we also said that, and sometimes, so these are all the problems, right? In this is responsible. This goes to 15. For instance, the tomato stains grown for supermarkets have lost much of their flavor, right? You see, this is happening because of mutation, right? And we already found the answer. Like this, yeah, this happens actually because when you familiarize yourself with the context so well, this is possible. I mean, I again, one more time, um, for those who don't know, I don't, make any previous preliminary preparation for passages. I just do it right on the spot. So I don't even like prepare at all. So we always check the answers until in the end. So maybe I'm making mistakes right now because my reading score is 8.5, and again, like my previous reading score was 8. So which it doesn't necessarily mean that my reading is perfect. This is just to practice my reading and at the same time help others like see how I actually approach or how many other high level, I don't know, students or teachers approach this uh, reading passages. Now, yeah, let's just see. Now use this knowledge to reintroduce the change from scratch while maintaining or even enhancing. Okay, we keep reading. Kindler's team made 6 changes altogether. For instance, Kudla's like, I think, all right, so yeah, I guess 6 changes altogether. For instance, they tripled the size of fruit by editing a gene called fruit weight, and increased the number of tomatoes per truss by editing another called multiflora. So per truss, I don't know what a truss is though. Uh, while the historical, I think like this has something to do with this. Let's just get this over with right away. By modifying one gene in the tomato plant, researchers made the tomato 3 times its original, right? The tripled size. Again, oh my God, like this is the correct answer. It's original size because it was so obvious. Again, like I said, these are really easy, and by doing so, we're sort of like getting our minds to predict what word may actually go here. So while the historical domestication of tomatoes reduced levels of the red pigment, historical domestication of tomatoes reduced levels of the red pigment, lycopene, thought to have potential health benefits. The team in Brazil managed to boost it instead. The wild tomato has twice as much lycopene as cultivated ones. Uh, the newly domesticated one has 5 times as much. Oh, wild tomato has twice as much. Okay, newly domesticated. Wow, that's so cool. A type of tomato which was not badly affected by was produced by a team of researchers in China. I think this is here, right? While the historical domestication of tomatoes reduced the levels of red pigment, right? Lycopene, I think, thought to have the potential benefits. The team managed. I'm not sure, like, which was not badly affected by, was produced by, managed to boost it instead. The wild was twice as much lycopene. I'm not sure though. They are quite tasty and very aromatic. Um, Vitamin C. I don't think that's it yet. Yeah, we can like always come back, right? Oh yeah, it's now. They're only mentioning it now. Yeah, we keep reading. Don't get like carried away, right? The team in China redomesticated several strains of wild tomatoes with desirable traits lost in domestic potatoes. Tomatoes, sorry again. The team in China redomesticated several strains of wild tomatoes with desirable traits lost in domesticated. Oh yeah, I see. This way, they managed to create a strain resistant to a common disease called bacterial spot race. Ah, now, like yeah. Oh, where am I going? So a type of tomato which was not badly affected by, right? Uh, in this way, they managed to create a strain resistant to a common disease called, which can devastate yields. They also created another strain that is more salt tolerant and has higher levels of C, right? That is more salt tolerant, right? Which was not badly affected by salt, right? Was produced by a team of, yeah, salt. Because, like more salt tolerant, that means like it's less affected, right? It's like not badly affected by it. So this is 26. We're done with sentence completion questions in your face, right? to the like completion. Anyways, now okay, let's see. we also go through these questions. An explanation of how problems can arise, we already did. A reference to a type that can resist to a dangerous infection. I think now, yeah, only now I think we're mentioning this, right? Uh, that can resist it, like actually a type of tomato. So here, right, with desirable domesticated. In this way, they managed to create a strain resistant to a common disease called, yeah, I think bacterial spot rate, which can devastate yields. Ah, yeah, this is actual tomato now, because there it was just one assumption, right? Like resistant to diseases. Uh, okay. Number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be useful as food sources. Did we read anything about that? Um, I don't think so. Oh, this was supposed to be A. Okay. Yeah, we keep reading now. And oh, by the way, we have this, right? Jor Kudla. I think, yeah, we mentioned Kudla one more time. And again, Kudla, right? A little bit strong, very aromatic. So, present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the cost involved. No, it's not advisable for future direction of certain research to be made public. No. Eating unusual plants may not be acceptable on a large scale. Domesticating certain plants could allow them to adapt to future environmental challenges. Um, environmental challenges? I don't think so. Okay, we keep reading. Meanwhile, Joyce Van Eck at the Boyce Thompson Institute in New York State decided to use the same approach to domesticate the ground cherry or golden berry for the first time. The fruit looks similar to the closely related Cape gooseberry. Ground cherries are already sold to a limited extent in the US, but they are hard to produce because the plant has a sprawling growth habit and the small fruits fall off the branches when ripe. Van Eck's team has edited the plants to increase fruit size, make their growth more compact, and to stop fruit dropping. Oh, there's a potential. There's potential for this to be a commercial crop, right? Says, but she adds that taking the work further would be expensive because of the need to pay for the license for a license for the CR, I don't know, whatever technology and get regulatory approval. So here, yeah, yeah, expensive, right? Like present efforts to domesticate one wild fruit are limited by the cost involved. It is C, right? And what else? Like made public on a large scale. So now we also try to look at this. Number of examples of plants that are not cultivated at present but could be useful as food sources. I think uh, here, habitat and small fruits fall off. Like these are like where is it? Ground cherries, right? And golden berry. So there's potential for this to be a commercial crop. Like it can be used as food sources, right? So maybe this is it, right? D. Oh, by the way, I was supposed to change this to C, not A, because we just found it right here. Okay. Now, I guess we keep reading. This approach could boost the use of many obscure plants, says Jonathan Jones, right? Obscure plants, but it will be hard for new foods to grow so popular with farmers and consumers that they become new staple crops, he thinks. Oh, it will be hard for new foods to grow so popular with farmers and consumers that they become a new staple crops. The three teams already have their eye on other plants that could be catapulted into the mainstream, including foxtail, oatgrass, and kobe. By choosing wild plants that are drought or like heat tolerant, says Gao. Gao, who is it? Oh yeah, we have. By choosing wild plants that are drought or high heat tolerant, we could create crops that will thrive even as the planet warms. Oh, like environmental challenges, right? could allow them to adapt nice, domesticating certain plants, right? Like choosing that are drought. So these are certain plants could allow them to adapt to environmental challenges. So it's B. This is 19. Like Gao is like this Gao 19. But Kugla didn't want to reveal which species were in his team's sights. Alright. Because has made the process so easy, and anyone with the right skills could go to their lab and like, why not just share, right? Open source it. I mean, like scientists are so I don't know, like they want to take the credit. I mean, of course, they've done all the work, but still, if like a reasonable man finds out his work, then he's probably going to cite that work. The idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be accepted on a large scale. Uh, let's see. Um, where is it? Large scale. The idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be accepted on a large scale. I can't remember that. Ah, the three teams have already have their eyes on other plants that could be put into the mainstream by choosing plants that are drought or heat relevant, heat tolerant. Create crops. We could create crops that will thrive as. But also here 21A, I think, right? A, because it's not advisable for the future direction of certain research to be made public. Yeah, that's what he's saying. What else do we have? Like we have one, uh, two left. Personal reaction to the flavor of a tomato that has been genetically edited. Where is it? Like, oh, aromatic. I think here Kudla says that, right? Like uh, very aromatic with the flavor of a tomato that has been genetically edited. I think this is the only place that mentions the flavor, right? The taste. So I think personal reaction, like there's Kudla, this only person, right? And very aromatic. Aroma and taste combined are flavor, right? I think. Uh, Personal, but could be used as food sources. Problems can arise from focusing only on a certain type of. All right, I guess we're there. We're done. How about this one? The idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be accepted on a large scale. I think we must have read it somewhere. I can't remember it right now. Uh, okay. As added to plants to increase food science, make their own growth. There's potential for this to be a commercial crop, but she has taken the work further would be expensive because of the need to pay for a license for the technology and get regulatory approval. Uh, oh, regulatory approval. This approach could boost, but it will be hard for new crops so popular with farmers and consumers that they become new staple crops. Oh, I see. Yes, like this is approved, right? Jonathan Jonas. Yeah, this is it. D. This is the part 20, and this was like 21. Yeah, like why approved? Because it will be hard, right? It means like uh, the idea of growing and eating unusual plants may not be accepted on a large scale. It's like the approach could boost the obscure plants, but it will be hard for new foods to grow so popular. So popular with farmers, that means like on a large scale, it seems uh, that they become new staple crops. I mean, for new foods to grow so popular that they become new staple crops, they're unusual crops, right? So I think yeah, that's about it. Now let's check real quick and see if we made any mistakes or if we just messed up the whole thing. It was test to uh, passage to. I'm gonna have to be very careful so that I don't want to see and spoil. Oh, it is listening. Okay. All right, it's CB 16E. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to E, right? AC BD. All right, made one mistake. ACA and flavor size. Okay, we made one mistake again in passage two. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I may have um, I may have been a little. I don't know. I may not have paid close enough attention, right? Let's read E. Like a number of examples. Yeah, I was not really sure about this at all. Okay. Oh yeah, I see. The teams have already have already have their eye on other plants that could be catapulted into the mainstream, including foxtail, oatgrass, and kopi. Yeah, oh these are the examples I think. But there have been given a lot of examples, but here as well, these are not like positive, right? However, here with 16, that are not cultivated but could be used as like these are not cultivated yet, right? And these are failures, right? So okay, it is. Thanks everyone for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video and like press the like button. Thanks everyone. Bye.